If voting made any difference, they wouldn't let us do it. These words, attributed to Mark Twain, still echo powerfully today, cutting through the noise with razor-sharp wit and uncomfortable truth. You know, when Twain first made this observation, he was looking at a world of smoke-filled rooms, political bosses, and blatant vote buying. The powerful didn't even try to hide their manipulation of the system. They didn't have to. Back then, voter suppression wasn't just a strategy, it was the law in many places. But here's the thing that makes Twain's words so haunting. Fast forward to today, and while the methods have changed, the game remains surprisingly similar. Instead of cigar-chomping political bosses, we've got algorithms shaping our views. Instead of straight-up vote buying, we've got corporate lobbying that makes the Gilded Age look amateur. The smoke-filled rooms have been replaced by perfectly lit TV studios where politicians perform their carefully rehearsed dance of promises and platitudes. Let's be real for a moment. This isn't meant to discourage you from voting. Quite the opposite. What Twain was getting at, and what we need to understand today, is that voting alone isn't enough. It's just the beginning. Real change doesn't happen in the voting booth. It happens in the days, weeks, and years that follow. Think about every major social change in history. Yes, there were elections involved, but what really moved the needle? People organizing, protesting, speaking up, and most importantly, staying engaged long after the ballots were counted. The civil rights movement didn't succeed because of a single election. Women's suffrage wasn't won at the ballot box alone. Workers' rights weren't granted by a simple vote. The real power isn't in the single act of voting. It's in what we do with our collective voice every other day of the year. It's about staying informed, holding elected officials accountable, and being actively involved in our communities. The system might be designed to make us feel powerless, but that's exactly why we can't afford to be passive. Twain's cynicism wasn't meant to paralyze us, it was meant to wake us up. When he suggested that voting doesn't make a difference, he wasn't telling us to give up. He was challenging us to do more, to look deeper, to understand that real democracy requires more than just showing up at the polls every few years. So yes, vote, but don't stop there. Because maybe the reason they let us vote is that they're counting on us to think that's enough. Prove them wrong. Make your voice heard not just on election day, but every day. That's how real change happens. That's how we make voting matter. Remember, the most dangerous thing to any system of power isn't the vote itself. It's what happens when people realize that the vote is just the beginning of their power, not the end of it. Now that's something that would make Mark Twain smile.